This is a regular shirt, but I am no longer regular. Me and the shirt have had some good times. Maybe we can have good times again. While there is still some space around the waist, the issue is the fit around the shoulders and back is just too tight. So, to give me the space I need to make changes, I'm going to rip this down to its panels, slice the front, back and yoke to add additional fabric, then reassemble. The front panels have this well-placed change in the pattern, so I use this as a cutting guide. I split the back down the centre and, trying to preserve the shape of the collar, cut the yoke on the shoulder line. For a moment, this shirt was going to fill the gaps, but I thought better of it. Instead, I cut the needed additions from a nylon cotton blend black shirt. It's not the nicest of fabrics, but the garment is large enough to give me some flexibility. The panels in the yoke could be better placed, but this seemed the easiest way to preserve the shape of the original collar, saving me some work later. For comfort, I French seamed in each panel, which involved a lot of ironing, stitching, and unpicking when I got confused. But it gave me a nice final look. For more detail, I've made a quick tutorial on how to do French seams, and it's linked in the iCard. During the confusion, I totally missed that the arrangement of the front right panel was backwards. I'll fix that later. I joined the yoke to the back panel by sandwiching both sides around the back, pointing down, and secured with a straight stitch, then folded these up and secured into position with a top stitch. I was gifted these fabric tags to support the channel. Before I close up the yoke, I added one to the inside with a zigzag stitch. If you would like to support the channel, click the like button. With the panels prepared, I could iron them out, place the pattern piece, and cut the new shape. I assembled the body with a running stitch for a test fit, and it fits as expected. The drop shoulders are there. The yoke is almost doing its job, but there is a lot of loose fabric in the back. One day I'll learn how to shape a back, but not on this project. I now had to look at the issues created by adding the panel in the wrong orientation. I will have to do something about the rise on the front right. There is also a chunk missing from the shoulder, and some work to do to clean up the sleeve openings. The collar got a dirty patch. I took a little more care with the body and reshaped the sleeve opening. This meant that I couldn't trust the old sleeve pattern, so I had to make a new one. I marked out the curve on the front and back, cut them out, extended the shoulder line, and taped the two bits together, and arbitrarily decided how much they should taper in. I laid this pattern out on the bias, only because that would give me enough fabric, and marked out the cut, adding seam allowance. More French seams on the shoulder, and it's starting to get pretty bulky in some places. I then carefully pinned on the sleeves and got confused and forgot the final stitch on the left, but put a double French seam on the right. I think we'll need another backing track. I pinned the sides, then added its French seam, trimmed the sleeves and body to prepare for their hem, and then pinned on the collar, realising that the collar was now too short for the opening. Look, let's just skip to... This is the final garment. This project has been a slog. To be honest, about halfway through, I knew it was a dud and just wanted it to be over. I've never made a shirt before, and this garment shows it. In hindsight, the yoke should have been an entirely new piece. This would have let me properly match the original collar to the new shape of the garment, and given a much cleaner look. Instead, I've ended up with this gape where I couldn't force the fabric into the seam without a pleat, and these unflattering panels. Instead of using the oversized tee pattern, I needed a reliable shirt pattern to work from, and some practical experience of making one. The way I've handled details like the split side seam and hemming reveal the gap between my skill and experience, and my ambitions. But from a distance, if you squint, I've achieved my goal of making an oversized silhouette from something that was just too small for me. And I really do believe that this is a valid approach to upsizing a garment. I think with a reliable pattern and more care and attention than I gave this garment, the results could be really good. Maybe there will be a part 2 of this project, but for now, I'll bury it in the wardrobe with the appropriation jacket. If you got this far into the video, I really appreciate it. Why not subscribe to watch me bumble around on future projects? And eventually, I might even get good.